Okay, good evening once again.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, welcome to our today's class. And today we are going to look at a very interesting lesson or a very interesting topic, which is part of the flowers. But before we start our lesson, I would like to uh, take the roll call and see who is in and who is not. So, Stella Kirui,
Present.
Joyce Chepkoech,
Present.
kindly mute your microphone. Yes, we have Joyce Machani,
Present.
Diana. Diana, are you in? Then we have Cecilia.
Present.
Okay, thank you. I can see all of us are in. And our main focus today will be parts of a flower. And our learning outcomes is that by the end of the session, you, the trainee, should be able to identify parts of the flower and then also describe the male and the female parts of a flower. I know all of us have come across flowers in one instance or another, and I know you're very familiar with them. So I expect this class to be very interactive. Is it so?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So first we can start by defining what a flower is, and from what you can see on your screens, we can define a flower as a reproductive organ of the flowering plants. These plants are also known as angiosperms. A flower is a complex structure which is composed of various parts, each serving a specific functions in the plant's reproductive process. So the main function of a flower in the plant is for reproduction. Now, I would like each and every one of us to identify one part of the flower from what you can see on your screen. We can start with Joy. Joy, what
I
can
think
you
one of
kindly mute? Yes,
yes, one of the parts of a flower is the petals.
this is the
We have
petal.
also the anthers, the filament, and the sepals.
All right, that's very good. That's a good observation. We also have some other parts which have not been mentioned, and I'll call upon Lydia to identify those parts. Lydia?
Yes, we also have the stem.
Yes, we have the stem,
We have anther,
we have the anthers,
filament,
the filament.
filament. Yes,
All right, thank you. That's a good
those are
observation.
the stamen part.
All right, thank you. That's a good observation. So, we have the petals, we have the anthers and the filaments, which makes up the stamen, and the stamen is the male part of the flower. We have the stigma, the style, the ovary, and the ovule, which makes up the pistil, and the pistil is the female part of the flower. We have also the sepals and the stem. So, what are the functions of these parts of the flower? And we will begin with the petals. So, we can say that petals are the colorful and modified leaves of a flower. So, they are they are the leaves of the flower, and they are often the most conspicuous part of the flower and comes in variety of shapes, size, and colors. Petals have a specific function in serving the flower, which includes attracting pollinators and protecting the reproductive part of the flower. That's all about the petals. We move ahead and have a look at the sepals, and I'll call upon Joy to tell us what the sepal is and what is its function. Yes, Joy.
Okay. Thank you. Sepals are the outermost parts of a flower. usually green and live-like. They they enclose and protect the developing flower bud before it opens. They also play a crucial role in the early stages of the flower's life cycle, which includes protection, support, and regulation of flower opening.
Thank you very much. That's a good answer. So we can say that sepals are the outermost, and they are usually green and leaf-like. Uh, their function is to protect the developing flower bud before it opens up. That is it about the sepal. We can now proceed and have a look at the male parts, which we refer to as the stamen. So the stamen, as I've mentioned earlier, is composed of two parts, which is the anthers and the filament. So what you can see on your screen is a structure of the male part of the flower, which is known as the stamen. So let's proceed and have a look at what are the functions of this part of the male part of the flower. So as I've said that the stamen is the male part of the flower and it consists of two parts. We have the anthers and the filament. So I call upon Stella to tell us the function of the anthers.
Uh, it produces pollen.
Yes, thank you very much. The anthers produces pollens, and pollens are the male gametes of the flower. Yes, let's proceed and have a look at the filament. I call upon Diana. Kindly tell us the function of the filament. If Diana is not around, we can have Regina.
Okay, thank you. I can say that filament is the stalk attached to the flower that holds the anther.
Okay, thank you very much. So we can say that the filament is a stalk attached to the flower that holds the anthers. In other words, it is the support of the anthers. That's all about the male parts. Let's proceed and have a look at the female parts. And these female parts is known as the pistil. The female parts is composed of the stigma, the style, ovule, and the ovary. So it has four parts. We have the stigma, style, ovule, and the ovary. So let's proceed and have a look at their functions. Have the stigma. Let me call upon Lynette. Kindly tell us the function of the stigma.
Okay, thank you. The stigma is part of the flower that is sticky and it always collects the pollen.
Yeah, thank you very much. We can say that the stigma is the part of the flower that is sticky and collects the pollen. And I've said that the pollens are produced at the anthers. Now, so the stigma is the one which uh, collects or sticks to the pollen. And then the pollen travels through the style and to the ovary. So we have the style. The style supports the stigma. And then we have the ovary. I call upon Joy to tell us the function of the ovary.
The ovary has seeds known as ovules, and the ovules are what turn into the fruit. It is for meaningful reproduction.
Okay, thank you. So we have the ovary is where the female gametes are located. The ovules are the female gametes. So the ovary is the housing of the female gametes, and it usually develops into a fruit after fertilization. Thank you. Now that brings us to the end of our today's class, and thank you for participating. It has been a very interactive class, and I must thank you for that. So, before we come to an end, I would like us to review what we've learned during our today's class. So, each one of us will tell us one or two concepts they were able to learn today, and I'll begin with Lynette. Lynette, kindly tell us what you've learned today.
Okay, thank you. I've learned that the male part of a flower is called a stamen and it is composed of anthers and filament.
All right, that's very good. It means that you guys were very attentive and you've learned something. So let's go ahead and hear from Joy.
I've learned about the pistil, which is the female part of a flower, and it contains the stigma, style, and ovary.
Okay, thank you very much. So the female part of the flower is known as the pistil, and it contains it is composed of the stigma. We have the style and the ovary. Thank you very much. So before we come to an end, I have an assignment which should be done and submitted during our next class. The assignment is draw a well-labeled structure of a flower. Note the assignment down very clearly and make sure that you do it and submit the assignment during our next class. Is there any question? Any question? If there is no question, that brings
No
us to the end of
question.
our class. Have a good evening.